Good evening, Mr. D'Souza, Ohio Right to Life board members and staff, and honored guests. The year was 1982. Tony Cavallo, a high school junior, was working on his car when the jack suddenly slipped out from underneath the vehicle, causing the car to come crashing down on him. His 50-year-old mother, Angela, rushed to his rescue. She lifted the 2,000-pound car off of her son, and Tony was dragged to safety. The year was 2014. Christina Simoes, a young mother trapped in a burning apartment, grabbed her 18-month-old son and jumped out of her third-story window. As she fell, she made sure her precious toddler was completely protected. The boy was safe and unharmed, but Christina suffered serious vertebrae damage. Yet, she remarkably tells us, he matters more than I do. Why? What force compels women to take such extraordinary actions to save the lives of their children? What causes them to take these risks? To Christina and Angela, their actions were not risks at all. They were instinctive and ever so human. The love of a child can cause a mother to do extraordinary things. You see, women are physiologically hardwired to protect their children and to place their children's lives above their own. The research is clear. MRI scans of mothers' brains when looking at their own infants showed different brain patterns than when looking at other women's children. When mothers saw their own children in distress, these cerebral changes were especially pronounced. They are the effect of a hormone known as oxytocin and results in overwhelming love and fierce protectiveness. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we know as the maternal instinct. Today, we hear much about a war on women, a derogatory reference to the efforts to restrict abortion. But I propose that the real war on women is being waged against their very nature by the abortion culture. The Supreme Court ruled Roe v. Wade in 1973, and here we are now, 58 million dead babies later. Millions of these babies' mothers suffer physical and psychological damage. 10% suffer immediate complications from abortions, and many endure long-term reproductive damage such as sterility or ectopic pregnancies. Tragically, a 2010 study by the journal Pregnancy found that 52% of early-term abortion mothers and 67% of late-term abortion mothers met their criteria for PTSD. Some post-abortive mothers have even harsher symptoms on the anniversaries of their abortions or on the due dates of their children. Planned Parenthood is the most vicious combatant in the war on the unborn and the war on women. The videos filmed by brave pro-lifers have gone viral, exposing Planned Parenthood's callous and reprehensible money-making machine that sells preborn body parts. They have been responsible for more abortions and more mothers' pain than any other abortion business in the world. And as former presidential candidate Carly Fiorina says, this is truly definitive of the character of our nation. In 2014, Planned Parenthood's revenue was $1.3 billion. $500 million of that coming from U.S. taxpayers. We need to defund Planned Parenthood and defend childhood and motherhood. And we are making progress. Young people, the next generation, are increasingly pro-life. Even Nancy Keenan, former president of pro-abortion NARAL, commented on the March for Life. She says, "There are so many of them, and they are so young, and they are not going away. My generation is the pro-life generation, and you're right, Ms. Keenan, we are not going away." growing number of states, including our home state of Ohio, has passed and signed laws stripping Planned Parenthood of taxpayer funding. Ohio truly understands the meaning of being pro-woman and being pro-life. The maternal instinct, a woman's nature, still exists, even in the corrupt secular society of today. It can be suppressed, it can be stifled, it can be ignored, and it can even be denied. But it can never be completely extinguished. Christina and Angela found it the most natural thing in the world to protect their children. And to each of these mothers, it would have been the most horrific, unnatural thing to kill her child. We must stand and fight every day for the women, men, and children harmed by abortion. We must fight for family. We must challenge for children, and we must motivate mothers. We need more mothers like Christina and Angela who are willing to jump out windows and lift cars to save their children. Join me in being pro-woman. Join me in being pro-life. For being pro-woman and being pro-life truly do go hand in hand. Thank you.